Like, I know a lot of people has enjoyed their childhood, but what about, have you heard about those people who haven't? Like, have you actually heard about these people who actually grew up and just thought about their future one day? Hi, it's Dixie, and welcome to the podcast. I'm very excited for my new episode today because this is kind of a bit relatable to some of my audience. One of you actually messaged me and told me, why not talk about the struggles or something relatable to people, and I thought about it for like 3 nights, and I said, why don't I do that? Like, why don't I talk about why people are sorry for what they're doing today? You know what I'm saying? Like, why a lot of people are leaving the families, their comfort zone. A lot of people are sacrificing all of that. Okay, let's talk about not having to be sorry to people because reality has hit us, and now we're trying to reach dreams that were once impossible, and we're just trying to make them possible for all the people who has supported us, for all the people who believed in us. This is such an overwhelming topic. Like, you don't have to be sorry. Let me you don't have you just don't have to be sorry. If you're not hurting anybody, you don't have to be sorry. Let me just set the scenario for you real quick. Imagine being 6 years old. Imagine being 6 years old. Six, and you're supposed to be coloring a coloring book with 12 crayons that mom and dad bought you. Six, and playing hide and seek with your neighbor. Or six, and you're supposed to be enjoying the rain outside when it pours down with your siblings. Six, and you just roll over the mud and get your clothes dirty while playing catch, because that's what it feels like to be six. Like, that's what it feels like to be a child. That's what innocence feels like. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where your memories last forever. That's supposed to be six. But then again, supposed to be, right? I know a lot of people has had this experience, has had this memory. Like, I know a lot of people has enjoyed their childhood, but what about, have you heard about those people who haven't? Like, have you actually heard about these people who actually grew up and just thought about their future one day? Have you heard about, like, 6 years old talking about, oh, I want to be this when I grow up? Well, a lot of 6 years old wants to be somebody else when they grow up, but have you heard about a 6 years old so passionate about what they want to do when they grow up? Because for me, being six was actually a little girl who was coloring a coloring book with the crayons mom and dad bought, or grandpa and grandma bought, and looking up at the sky while the plane passes by. Like, looking up at the sky and asking herself, when's it gonna be me? When's it gonna be me actually traveling the world? When's it gonna be me? When's it gonna be my turn to see the world? And while you're coloring the book, all you could imagine is mountains you've never seen, or beaches you've never seen, beaches that don't even exist, but they exist in your imagination. This little girl was six, and she's always had a connection with the world that you can never take away from her. Imagine being six and getting hyped up. I'm so excited to see the world, but she just doesn't know how to get there. But one day, she knows that one day it's going to happen. Like, that kind of dedication that she's had has always been there inside her, that she's never actually talked about. And then she turned 7. And then she completely forgot about that, because she completely forgot about what she wanted to do, because she knows that it's never going to happen, because she knows that it's never going to happen because there's just a lot of work into it. Like, you need to be six and working. You need to be six and what? saving money. I was 6 and I was stealing money from my parents. You know why? First of all, I know that was wrong, but excuse me for trying to for but excuse me for wanting to actually buy like this little bubbles, that could just, excuse me for buying nonsense things, because I just want to be a kid. Like I just want to have, I just wanted to have nice things. But then growing up, you realize that you cannot always have nice things. You just can't always have nice things, because you've got to work to have nice things. You've got to work hard for it to have nice things. And then one day reality hit you, and you're just like, how did your parents just took care of you? Because now that you're making your own money, how did they manage to pay tuition fees while paying the groceries, while paying some extra fees? Or how did they manage to, you know what I'm saying? It's every person, like every person who actually grew up knows that they owe an apology to their parents, and that's actually beautiful. I feel like getting older is a privilege not everybody else has, but then again, it's the most saddest thing anybody could ever have. Yet it's the most happiest and the most humbling experience every person had to go through. But then again, the privilege of getting older is something not everyone has. And we're gonna talk about that. Like, sit down, get your coffee, make your teas, because we're going to talk about that. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, imagine being of the young age, and then you turn 7, and then you turn 8, and you completely forgot about the dream, and then you're 9. And then again, it came back. That dream came back. Like, that dream is the dream. Like, that dream is what you want, and you crave for it. And then you turn 10, and you can't stop thinking about it. And then you turn 11, and everybody wants you, and everybody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you can't tell them that, because you know it's never going to happen. Like, you know that it takes a lot of work for that to happen. For that dream to be able to happen, you need to at least have a 5 years worth of money, or have the financial stability, or have the right job for it, or have the right education for it. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's asking you, you turn 11, and everybody's asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you write on your essays, I just want to be somebody successful. But then again, they turn down your essays, and they say, oh, you can't. You just can't. You have to be specific on what you want to be, because everybody will be successful. But in order for that to happen, in order for you to be successful, what do you want to be? What do you actually want to be? And you sit there and think, oh, well, then what do you want me to be? Because I don't have the answer for it. I'm 11, and I'm supposed to be thinking of this. Am I not supposed to be thinking about my future when I'm 16? First of all, I am so glad that, well, I still envy the people who were like 11 and still enjoying their life. But we were 11 when we were forced to grow up. Like, we were 11, and people asked us, can you just be this person? And you can't say no to them, because then if they don't tell you what you want to be, then you're never gonna know what's next. But then again, you grow up and met people in different backgrounds who were once 11, that enjoyed being 11, that traveled somewhere with their family because they've had the privilege to do that. And you had the privilege to actually grow old. Like, and you had the privilege that you had is to actually get old and think about your future. That's the privilege that you have. It's two different things. Memories and your future. Like, memories and your future. They live in the present. You're living in the future. You know what I'm saying? You sit with them for coffees. One afternoon, I actually sat with one of my friends for coffee. She is 35. And then a lot of like teenagers passed by, and she looked at me and she goes, when I was 11, I just remember being them. I just remember sneaking out, and I just remember having all the time of my life. And I go, when I was 11, I was asked, what do I want to be when I grow up? When I was 11, I had to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. Not decide, but I had to like actually have at least knowledge of what I want to be. But then again, that wasn't me. At the end of the day, it was still my decision, okay? I'm not saying. For those of you who get angry in this topic, I'm not saying that a lot of older people just force us to be this and that. At the end of the day, it was still a decision. Anyway, at the end of the day, I had to fight for my dream. Anyway, I so envy the person who was 11 and going out with friends and playing basketball somewhere, playing volleyball somewhere, or playing soccer somewhere. I so envy these people. But then again, I feel sorry for them too. Like, I feel sorry that they haven't 35 and they're still lost. I feel sorry that 35 and they're still learning where they want to go, and that makes me sad. I told her about that, and it just makes me sad that we are actually in the same position right now. I'm 21 and you're 35, and we are actually in the same position right now. And she goes, actually, yeah. Actually, I wish when I was 11, I wish people told me what to do. I'm not saying I wish people told me what to do for me to be able to realize it a lot sooner that I didn't want to do this. I wish I was 11 and people told me, be very cautious on this field, or be very good in this field, or be very good in English and mathematics, or be very good in sciences and being social. I wish people told me about that so that when I did what they all wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. So that when they forced me to do things, when they forced me to grow up, I knew what I wanted to do when I grew up. It is such a privilege for you to actually get forced to get old at such a very young age, because then you knew what you wanted to be when you grow up. That's a privilege everyone doesn't have. That's a privilege every person does not have. And I am so lucky that I've met you at a young age, because I want to be you when I'm 21. But I'm not 21 anymore, and I'm 35. 35, and I still want to be you. Look at the world spinning and putting us in the same position, learning from each other. You envy my childhood, but I envy yours. That has been the most wholesome experience that I've ever got. I know it is hard. It's like, I still can't believe she told me that, but it is true. I envy her childhood. But then again, I'm grateful for what I have been through, because if people did not put me in this position, then I'm still grappling. Like, I'm still trying to reach something that I do not know. That conversation got me thinking. Now that I'm 21, I learned how to sacrifice stability, comfort, and relationships, because I don't want to blink in an eye and turn 30. I fear waking up one day at 30 and I just stare at the mirror and look at my 6-year-old self in a corner crying because I did not reach her dream. Like, I did not even fight for that dream. I do not want to be 30 in regret and ever regret not fighting for that little girl's dream. Like, that little girl was once somebody else's little girl. And now, you're 21 and you're hers. You're 21 and you're healing her. You're 21 and you just want to be there for her. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful when we grow up and we just... It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter what we want to be, but Isn't that beautiful when you grow up, you get old and you just have this realization that you just have this memory that, oh, yeah, that's what she wanted to be. And now I'm in the position where I'm fulfilling her dreams. And I'm so glad that I fulfill her dreams, because what if I'm 40 and I can't? Or what if I'm 40 and I'm not here in this world? Or what if I'm 30 and I'm not even here? Like, what would my 6 years old say? Like, what would that memory say? What would she tell me? Sometimes in my age, when I'm in a very difficult situation, sometimes I go back and then I ask myself, what would 6 years old me do? Like, what would this innocent child do? And there you go. I've got the answer. Like, my 6 years old, that 6 years old self is the most powerful little girl that you could ever meet. Your 6 years old self will be the most powerful little girl that you will ever meet, or you're 7 or you're 8 years old. I don't know. I hope I justified what I said, because that for me, that's it for me. Like, I know what I want to be. I just don't want to talk about it to people, because I will talk about it when it's over. Like, if I've reached the goal, I will talk about it to people, but I know what I want to be. This is like half my 6 years. I've obviously told the story now, but it's like half of what she wanted to be. That's like half of it. Because the other half, we're fulfilling it. Like, we're just going there, and it's beautiful. Like, I love where we're going. Okay? I just love her. Honestly. Being older is a privilege that not many of us have. Like, it's the saddest, the most happiest, and the most humbling experience any person could ever have. Any person could ever go through. Why? I've met a lot of people in different backgrounds that made me grateful on how things turned out for me. I have my personal challenges and own experiences. I 100% know for a fact that those things are the reason people tell me that I don't look my age. And I do not know if I want to take this like that as a compliment, because I sometimes do. Sometimes I take that as a compliment, but oftentimes I grieve with the fact that I grew up too fast. Like, I got old too fast. That I put my teenage years building something, but then those are the years I can't take back. While it is true to make memories, because you can never take it back. To make memories while you're young, because you can never take that back, and not memories when you get old. While that is true, it is also true to work for your future while you're still young. And I wish I've known about what work-life balance is. Like, work-life work-life balance is. I wish I've known what it was. Like, I agree with the fact that I've lost so many years not trying to enjoy myself, but maybe, but then again, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's just not the right time for me. Because I just wanted more in life. Maybe it's the right thing that people wanted me to be at that time. But because I wanted more, I had to force myself to grow up. I had to literally I did put myself in positions where in new situations that is clearly out of my touch, and this new situations was my learning ground. These new situations put me in my place. These new situations were like, it was an experience I could never forget, because to this day, this experience has taught me something else. Like, imagine being 16, 18, 19, 20th, and you're attending seminars about your future. And I think for me, that's a very good deal. At the end of the day, it's still a decision. I still went there. It's still a decision. At the end of the day, it's me making this for myself. So I am not a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens because you've put yourself in a situation. because you put yourself out there. Like, if at the end of the day you made the decision to go there, or you made that decision to put yourself in this position, so spare me. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you do not believe in that. That's fine. Like, that is so fine. But you know what's really funny? In your life, you'll do things greater than trying to fit in or trying to change who you are in order to fit in. And I did not know this when I was 12. Because when I was 12, I wanted to be everybody else. When I was 12, I wanted to change myself for somebody. Yeah, when I was 12, I've been bullied. Like, I was this person who, I don't know, who became friends with everybody else and then just wanted to, like, turn each other's back. Like, you don't want to be friends. Honestly, you don't want to be friends with 12 years old me. Like, it's not good. Because I just wanted to fit in. Like, I want to be friends with everybody else because I see these people older than me that are friends with everybody else, and they're they're very fun. And then I was spreading like gossips after gossip about this person because one person is telling me how they hate another person, and I go, "Oh, she hates you for this. For just this reason, she hates you for this." And then the next thing you know, the world's pinned, and you're at the bottom, and everybody bullies you because you're such a liar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people do not want 12 years old people do not want any accountability for their actions. Like, they're 12. They're just trying to enjoy what they have. Like, they're 12. What is accountability anyway to them? Anyway, yeah, I've got bullied because of that. But then after 12, 13, I think I became a bully. The next year, I became a bully. You know why? I learned how to fight back. Like, but then again, 14, and I don't know how to do it anymore. Anyway, there was just this one girl who was so mean. She went spreading gossips about me, and I did not want that. You know what I did? I took this girl. I think people still remember this. I don't know. But I followed this girl, and it was like, it was a thing back in the PH. It was a thing, like a flag ceremony every morning at 7 or 7:30 a.m. It was a thing. I followed this girl down the stairs, and I pushed her, and I'm like, "Fuck you for saying that." In our language, like, shut up. Like, you don't get to say a thing about me that's not even true. And the next thing I know, I was being punished because of that. Like, because I pushed her. Anyway, where I'm going with this is that after that, I vowed that, you know what, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong in this room. I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. I don't know what I was thinking at that time, but the next few years I was very gullible. So anyway, I did not do that. I didn't prove anybody wrong. Next few years I was very gullible. I was just an easygoing person, and everybody could just step on you. Yeah, but then I decided, why not grow in a different environment? As I said in my last podcast, when you've been listening to it, I actually left. And yeah, here I am, and a lot of things happened the past few years that is not, that's just too embarrassing. But then, you know what, when you leave home, when you leave your hometown, when you leave that comfort, when you leave that stability, it's just too hard for people who has been left. Like, it's so hard for people who were left behind, but it is much harder for people who actually left, because you don't have to be sorry for choosing yourself. Like, you don't have to be sorry for growing up. You don't have to be sorry for taking care of yourself first. You don't have to be sorry for choosing yourself first. You know what I'm saying? You left for those very specific reasons. I know, first of all, First of all, a lot of us, like Bible, a lot of us left because for those very specific reasons. Like, we left because we want to put ourselves first, or we left because we wanted to take care of ourselves too. Like, we don't want to be a burden anymore. Like, we don't want to be in a position where we're like, okay, it's another person where, oh, so this is for all of the 18 years old, okay? Like, for this, actually, this is for everybody. Like, we don't want to be in a position where mom and dad has to feed us. Like, we don't want to be in a position where mom and dad has to feed another head. Like, mom and dad has to pay my rent, or mom and dad has to, you know what I'm saying? You know, mom and dad has to buy my groceries. Mom and dad has to give me allowance. Mom and dad has to pay my tuition fee. Like, we grew up and we thought about those things. And I'm not saying that to those people who are back home and are not thinking, I'm not saying that to those people who went to college back home, they're not thinking about this, because they are. Trust me, they are. I still talk to friends who are very guilty to ask money from their parents. Like, I still talk to people who think the same as me. The difference is that I'm here and they're there, but we think the same. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, to those people who left the country, who left the hometown, who left their comfort and stability, you don't have to be sorry for doing that, because you're doing this for yourself, not only for yourself, but for everybody else. Actually, if they tell you otherwise, that you have to be sorry for leaving, no, you don't. Excuse me for leaving. Excuse me for taking care of myself first. Excuse me for putting myself in a position where I don't want to be a burden anymore. Like, I want to contribute. I want to contribute to lessen the burden, not contribute to be a burden. You don't have to be sorry for growing up. You grew up and it's okay. You grew up and it's okay that you chose to grow up. Like, that you chose to outgrow that place. Like, you chose to outgrow people. You chose to be there for you. And that's the most precious achievement. Like, that, for me, that's the most precious achievement anyone could ever do for themselves, because not everybody has the privilege to do that. Not everybody has the privilege to take care of themselves. Not everybody has the privilege to actually put themselves first. Not everybody has the privilege to do that. Like, if you've done that, congratulations. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Like, I'm so proud of you for actually choosing yourself first, for putting your mental stability first. When you did that, you chose to sacrifice a lot. And choosing that sacrifice was the best thing you could ever do for yourself. Not only for yourself, again, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. Like, I am beyond proud that you did that. You know what? If people tell you otherwise, that when you get back home and people tell you, like, you left us in this crippling place. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Please don't feel sorry for doing that. I hope you did learn something from this episode, because I loved making this. I hope you love this actually as much as I enjoyed making this. And if you wanted me to talk about this is not a one-way show. Everybody's welcome on it. Like, you just have to DM me what you want me to talk about. Anyway, hey besties, this is Dixie again, and welcome to Tender After Talk, the podcast. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in again. And you don't have to be sorry. You just don't have to be sorry. Anyway, I love you. Bye.